Welcome to more World of Warplanes content from this channel, and in this video I'll be showing you the do's and don'ts of heavy play for newer players. In summary, keep it high and dominate the sky. So this is the Scorching Sands map, and by way of a diversion, if you play World of Tanks, this is actually El Haloof. Not that I can recognise where the World of Tanks El Haloof map might be on this. It's the Edge of the World variant, so let's step through the strategy for this map. There are 5 sectors, 2 military bases, 2 forward airstrips, and these are in what's called a quincunx. That's actually the pattern on a dice for the 5 spots. The garrison in the centre. As usual, the garrison confers 3 resources every 5 seconds. The forward airstrip does the same and additionally allows you to spawn there during the course of the battle, but by far and away the most important sectors on the map are of course the military bases, 3 resources every 5 seconds, but also they launch rocket strikes against other bases. Bear in mind, military bases will never fire at another military base. Quirk of the game. Looking at the order of battle, we can see that I'm top tier in my Blenheim. There's a Grand Attacker, the Bisha 2, a BF-109B, excellent aircraft, and then there are a couple of tier 3s, both AR-80s, and on the opposing side there's a flight of Bristol 146s. They're both specialised, which means they could be very good indeed, but military bases aren't really where they're best put to use. There's an I-16, and we have at the bottom of the list a couple of tier 3s, the Hawk 75M and the FW57. That is a very favourable set of circumstances for the Blenheim F. It's top tier, it's the top tier heavy moreover, and there are 2 military bases with high flying air defence aircraft where it can really get to work. And tactically, even before the battle had started, I decided that I was going to go to the military base at the right, fly across the garrison and then go to the military base at the far end, and if that was successful and my team ended up with both military bases, the chances are this would be a winning battle. So as you know, I'm going to head right towards the military base, and what you will see many players doing, and indeed you may very well see bots doing, is taking the heavy low and straight down to the ground to use the ordnance. And the Blenheim, it's tempting to do that because it has good ordnance, 4 really good bombs, but that is not what I'm going to do. I think your advantages in a heavy are speed, altitude and firepower. And if you take them onto the floor, all you're doing is you're exposing yourself to all the enemy fighters, even the ADAs, and you are in a weak position. You are not flying the aircraft to its strengths. My principle is clear out the top, which means getting the air defence heavies first, any bombers that may come across, and then and only then consider going down to take on fighter ADAs or enemy aircraft on the floor and using your ordnance. And as you can see, we've got our military base. I haven't had to do that, and frequently I will spend the entire battle with my heavy high and never going down. It's not unusual for me to keep my bombs intact for the entire game. There could be an argument there that I shouldn't be using the bombs at all, but occasionally it's good to be able to use ordnance to flip a sector. It doesn't happen in this battle, spoilers, but it happens frequently enough for me to consider that keeping the bombs is useful. So the second part of my tactical plan, coming over the garrison, I don't want the bomber to go to our military base, so I'm going to chase and hunt him down. Goes. We've also got the garrison, so now I feel free to head towards the opposition military base. Now, although I have a general tactical plan, it doesn't mean to say I won't deviate from it if there's a target of opportunity. As you saw, I briefly thought about going down to some fighters there, then I spotted the bot heavy and decided to put a few rounds into him. I don't turn around and chase him, he's not important enough for me. I'm now back to my original tactical plan. I want to try and get the military base. Now I can see that at the bottom there's a Grand Attacker, and at that point when I started going down, The special object in this base hadn't been flattened. Unfortunately, as I began my dive, the ground attacker managed to destroy the special object, and that flipped the military base to the enemy. Now I'm down here, I will finish off the ground attacker. I'm having a look around and I can see that I'm relatively safe even though I'm in a low altitude, low energy configuration. Now the Blenheim F is a very sluggish climber, so sometimes, once you're down, it may make sense to stay down. And that was the second time that I was going to go for the special object, and my bomber took it out. And at this point, it's time for me to climb. I want to protect the bomber, and I'm going to take out the enemy heavy ADAs. There goes one. Additionally, I'm protecting my bomber at the time. And there goes the other. And we have complete success on my tactical plan. We have both military bases, although one of them is under threat. The enemy is now in a problem situation. The military bases will begin to flip their sectors to us. I've now regained altitude in the Blenheim. I see that we've taken an airfield, so I decide that I will hunt down this bot FW-57. And that was actually my turret that killed that aircraft. Interesting feature of the Blenheim F, the turret is fully rotating, and you can get turret kills even on aircraft that are in front of you. And having taken another target of opportunity, it's time to go back to our military base. It looks like it's going to fall, so I want to be there and try and take it when it does.
The military base has been captured by the enemy. Shape up, pilots.
Now, of course, at this point it's still in lockdown, therefore there are no ADAs, air defence aircraft, for me to take. I could leave everything that's in the base and wait until it unlocks. As we have a reasonably healthy lead, I decide to go down and clear them out. And it turns out that I find one of the Bristols, set him on fire, severely damage him, and fly past him. Now I've broken my own rule here, I've gone low in a base, and that's what happens. I thought I'd done enough to discourage the Bristol, and in fact, because I was low, I was pounced upon by an air defence aircraft that also came low, and I lost my aircraft. So let that be a lesson to you. Go down on the floor when your heavies at the wrong time, and you will lose your aircraft. And I would suggest that if you're a newer player of the game, the safe thing to do is not take your heavies low unless you are going one-on-one with another plane. Or the sector has no defenders and no enemy aircraft, and by using your ordnance you can flip it. So as you can see, I spawned at the airfield and I took the opportunity to clear out the enemy aircraft from it to keep it secure. I already know that now that we've lost both military bases, we have to get one of them back soon. Fortunately, one of them looks like it could be taken quite easily. Before I can go there, I dispose of the oncoming multi-role that was threatening me. And during that time, the military base was nearly flipped, has now flipped to us, so I'm free to go to the middle instead and work on that. There's one air defence heavy out. I decide to take out the fighters because they're much quicker to kill, and that flips the sector much more quickly. And now it's really all about targets of opportunity. We don't particularly need the other military base. The game is already secure unless a catastrophe occurs. As you saw, the Winged Legend went through, so I have been working quite hard in this game. One of the prime roles of heavies is to take out bombers, so I'm going to hunt the bombers that are threatening our military base. I suppose of the heavy that obligingly flies in front of me first. I take out one bomber, and then I head for the last one. And those were all low health aircraft, which is quite fortunate. By killing them all, not only did I get the Hero of the Sky badge go through, but I also got an ace and the Maguire medal. So 3 quick kills and 3 quick medals. And the game is almost over.
I'm proud of you, pilots. Head back home.
And there you have it. Quite a nice haul of medals again, and 16,410 points. Quite a decent game. So let's review the results of this battle. And as we can see, it's a 5 chevron battle, which is the best result for a heavy fighter, a grade 1. Gross 118,231 credits, and that's with a premium count, which means the other items here will also be subject to bonuses. Quickly popping across to the message box, we can see that the repair costs were 1,390, which will come off that 118,000, and that's because the aircraft was destroyed once. Base experience and bonuses 3,276, 163 free experience with bonus, just the 1 token for the ace. That's mainly because although these are the Maguire medal and the Winged Legend and the Hero of the Sky will earn you tokens, you only get them once a day, and I'd already obtained them in other battles. Going on to the personal score tab, we can see that 2 of the class specific missions were complete, and we had 4 out of 6 attack aircraft and bombers destroyed, but that was still enough for the 5 chevrons. Personal points of 16,410. Here we have 4 sectors captured, showing that I did put the aircraft about a bit on the battlefield. 20 aerial targets destroyed, exactly the number required for an ace. 3,890 damage to aerial targets, 23 critical hits. Capture points of 614. Hovering over it, we can see they're split evenly between defending and attacking. Now here's the interesting one: no ground targets destroyed and an extremely small amount of ground damage. And that's a feature of my playstyle. Time and again I see people at the start of a battle in a heavy with ordnance dive to the floor and use it, and it will work sometimes, but you're exposing yourself to the fighters and the multi-rolls down there. My principle is always to work downwards from the top, and I will only use the ordnance at the point where it's safe to do so, and if I think it will flip a sector. There were a couple of points in that battle where I considered using the ordnance, but I didn't. Moving to the team score tab, we can see that was enough for first place. Decent contributions from the players on my team there mostly. On the enemy side, the Bristol 146 had a pretty decent game. In fact, both Bristol 146s, they're in a flight. Both of them had a pretty good game. And Sucre 68 in his FW57, that's very competitive considering he was down tiered. So there you have it. That's how I like to fly my heavies. I start at the top of a sector, I clear out the air defence heavies, I clear out any enemy bombers that have approached, and then and only then will I consider going down to either use ordnance or take on air defence fighters and other enemy aircraft. And quite frequently that means I won't actually go down in a sector at all. Now, experienced pilots can see the battle in a way that probably the people watching this video, and indeed I, can't. They may be able to go low into a sector and make it work, but the chances are if you're watching this video you're a newer player, and I don't recommend that approach. There is one exception, and that is if you spawn on a map with a nearby mining plant which has no air defence aircraft, you can go low over that with your heavy and do damage with your ordnance. But other than that, I recommend to newer players, keep those heavies high in the sky and dominate. I hope you found this video interesting, and if you did, I hope that you'll come back and see more of my content in the future. But until then, this is Royal Flying Corps signing out.